trophies all season long, it has been these two. Shopify Rebellion back-to-back looking for the three-peat. Players looking for a first Halo World Championship. And on the other side of the stage, you have their old foes, OpTic Gaming, 2 trophies to their name and legacy on the line.
That's right, Shopify Rebellion taking them down earlier today. However, still everything to play for. We'll take a quick look at the map records before we jump in, and a slight edge in this first game. 6-1 already for OpTic Gaming and Aquarius TTF, and as you'll see in the next few, Shopify does have the overall edge throughout the next few. But when we get deep into the series, let's not forget that Street Slayer, a great game type for OpTic Gaming. Everything to play for here in your first potentially best of 7.
And just remember that the 2 times that OpTic Gaming have lifted trophies this year, they have done it the hard way from the elimination bracket, the exact point that they find themselves at here in Seattle. So Green Wall fans, do not despair. They have proven that even coming into this final knowing they have to beat Shopify Rebellion twice, they've already done it twice this year.
And that's right, this is not only your grand final, but the tiebreaker for the year. So fitting that both teams coming in with 2 wins across the season, and there will only be 1 tournament to decide who will not only win that tiebreak, but also be the most remembered Halo Infinite team, really for all of time from this era. It feels like everything rides on this single grand final.
It certainly does indeed, and it really is just set up perfectly. 2-2 across the season, the World Championship, the final World Championship to decide who will be remembered as that team that defines an era of competitive Halo. It really just could not be better, Andy. You've got world champions on the stage. You've got players who have picked up MVP trophies, regular season, infinite MVP seasons. I mean, it is set up to be the most perfect, explosive situation when it comes to a grand final you could possibly ask for.
It really is, and you heard everything Clutch said on the desk, and you've seen it on his face this weekend. How much does this mean to Formal? How much does this mean to the Green Wall? You heard him say just a few days ago to Hex, this is probably my last event, and if it is, I am giving it my all. He looked at his teammates and said, I am giving you everything I've got, the entire Green Wall. This roster, this fan base will be behind this team, but let's not forget Shopify Rebellion. Back-to-back defending champions, and they want to steal the last Halo World Championship. We're underway with your Halo World Championship Grand Final.
Here we go then, everybody. Shopify Rebellion versus OpTic Gaming, and a game type that has been in the suite since the very beginning of Halo Infinite to start it off. We've got some Aqua CTF, 5 flags to win it, or most flags after that time elapsed.
3 dead off the opening means Formal has to slow play. This flag is already on the move, and here comes the pressure early from Shopify Rebellion.
Royal 2 is going to get that first camo of the game. Always good to get that first power up in a grand final, just to make the coach feel confident, make you feel confident, and certainly make a player like Royal 2, who is never short of confidence, just have that extra little boost to start with. Just playing slowly around top middle at the moment, but gonna have to do a little bit of defensive work here as OpTic are going to get that flag off the stand.
Well, a quick 2 dead here, so Royal 2 knows that he can just clean out the util, should be able to pick up the first one, maybe even 2, gets the help, and that will be a clean 4 dead for Shopify.
And they're running that one. By the looks of things, they're actually going to get that one in. Shopify strike within the first minute here in the grand final, and OpTic Gaming are still finding themselves 2 dead.
I mean, talk about the composure there from Shopify, as you say, to fly into the util to get those last 2 kills so easily, and Royal 2's not done. He's gone coast to coast, and he's right back in the opponent's base.
He certainly is indeed. He's going to wait these nades out, as we often see from players, knowing that the respawners from OpTic Gaming are going to be coming into the map fresh with 2 grenades in their hands. Great shots coming in from Royal 2. How many times has that been said throughout the years? That's a killing spree to kick things off.
A match starting your grand final with a killing spree. 5-0 here. They'll take down 2 yet again, and so far it's been all Shopify Rebellion control off the opening.
Certainly has indeed, and they're looking for another flag to get moving as well. Renegade is a long way away from where that flag has already made its way forward. Royal 2's going to cut him down, and he was the closest player on the map to Last Shot, who's already running this one home. Shots are coming in, he's getting peppered. He gets stopped at the line. But are Shopify in a position to get this flag converted? Frosty, off the respawn, back into the flag. It's 2-0 to Shopify.
Really well done. Under 2 minutes of play, they get that second flag in as well. Flag is on the move, however.
OpTic looking for a counter cap. Royal 2 has a big job to stay alive, but Legend's trying to hunt him down. But I thought for a second Legend had lost him, but he finds that kill. And Formal has that one back to the util. One cap goes one way, and we swing back the other. OpTic get their first flag on the board. It's 2-1.
Very strong counter cap, and you feel like it comes at a very important part of the game. Instead, if this goes 3-0, it's blown wide open. However, OpTic Gaming doing very well to counter immediately, and they keep the game within one flag.
Both teams now fighting for mid-map control. That camo has just popped. The power back on the map. Remember, the first one went the way of Shopify Rebellion. Formal just playing a little bit of defensive work at the moment. Does a great job, not just to pick up the kills, but also keeps Bound alive. Last shot versus Formal. Two of the best shots to play in the game. And Grand Finals Formal hits the big shot.
That was 3 dead yet again. By the way, got to talk about the slays here. Flag is still on the move, and now a camo for Bound. 3 dead yet again for Shopify Cycle, last player alive.
Cycle's in the back of his base. Legends on the edge of his. From 2-0 down, it's 2-2. OpTic Gaming have tied the game.
Oh boy, and if you wanted to know if OpTic Gaming came to play, if they could bounce back from whatever might come their way in your grand final, let that be an indicator. Down 2 flags, as we said, within 2 minutes of play, but they are right back in the game as they tie it up.
Really good start in this game as well from Bound. Renegade's going to keep him alive, and if you keep Bound alive, good things happen for OpTic Gaming. 2 dead again for Shopify Rebellion. Cycle might be next, but he wins an important piv inside of the util here to stay alive and jump back out and turn 1 kill into 2.
3 dead, by the way. 4 dead for OpTic Gaming on a staggered kill. By the way, OpTic was being outslayed 13-5 off the opening. The 2 teams are now tied essentially at 20 kills apiece. What a bounce back from OpTic Gaming.
Really, really impressive stuff from them. Especially after what was a little bit of a shockwave at the start of the game with 2 flags going in extremely quickly. The first one in under 60 seconds for Shopify Rebellion. But I think the key for both teams in this series, and especially for OpTic Gaming, you have to match kill for kill Shopify. You have to make sure that when we look at those stats at the end of the game, that you're within 1 or 2 kills of them.
And it's so hard to do. Let's not forget, one of the best things that Shopify has done, not just this weekend, but in the later half of the season, has been the teamwork. The way that they can turn corners in pairs and make sure that you are always fighting 1v2s. That will be one of their biggest challenges.
Double kill from Frosty, though. Opens things up. OpTic Gaming a 3 dead. Renegade last alive. He's down as well. Frosty picks up 3 kills in this play, and the flag is already out into the courtyard. But OpTic, they're going to have to be taking down a couple more players because Shopify need these kills before they force this flag.
Look at the timing from World 2. He thought he had the timing with 1 player going fridge door and 1 player staying fridge. He thought he had the angle. 2 dead for OpTic here.
Frosty does a good job, though, to just get that kill. Last shot picks up another top middle. It's 3 dead for OpTic again, and from top middle to hands on the flag. He's going to be running this one home now, and I don't think OpTic have anyone in a good enough position to really slow this down. It's going to be Shopify who are going to take the lead. 3-2. They're up by 1.
And just like that, the kills continue to follow the flags. Unsurprisingly, Shopify now outslaying 30-27, and they will also take the lead here by 1. But still a lot of time left on the game clock.
A lot of time indeed, and it's going to be Shopify Rebellion who are 3 dead, but this man's got himself a camo. Frosty shots into the back of Legend, but makes nothing of it. OpTic, their timing and their teamwork, they're perfect.
How about a former teammate there? Takes down the camo in a very important kill. By the way, Renegade here, 10-10 off the opening, but we need to take a second. Not only is he your infinite MVP, but also how much has this man stepped up for OpTic Gaming over these past few events, even though the placings have not been exactly where they wanted them to be. Time and time again, it has been Renegade going double positive. Can he pull off the same performance in the grand final?
Really interesting moment. Bound to somehow with no shields, managed to take down a player on the P side. He's 3 dead for Shopify Rebellion, 4 dead for Shopify Rebellion, and Renegade is going to have the most simple job in the world, even with a little bit of a stutter step and a secondary clamber. He's going to tie the game up. Bound went huge down on pick 1.
It really is a battle of single individual 1v1s could win this. Once again, OpTic is just outslaying by 1 kill at 36-35, and as we said, whoever gets a slay lead by just 4 tends to get a flag on the board with what we've seen so far. It could all come down to just a few 1v1s or 2v2s to win this game, because these 2 teams have been neck and neck, tug of war throughout the first 7 minutes of play.
2v2 on the map right now. Royal 2 behind enemy lines. He's been a problem for many, many years when he gets behind the setups of teams. Renegade's going to have to rotate back. I think he recognizes the danger here as Royal 2 is still alive inside of his base. He gets that flag moving and causes a dilemma. Do we go for the kills here? Renegade has to decide kills or flag. Royal 2 just wants kills. Legend will slow it down, but that flag has been touched. And I think Shopify are trying to force this.
Big flank behind him. Last shot all the way across the map already. Amazing movement. That was 3 dead for OpTic. This one will go.
Start step again, but this time Shopify will take the lead. 4-3. It has been Shopify who have been ahead for for the majority of this game. OpTic have been fighting to tie the game up time and time again.
They might do it again.
But if the next flag goes the way of Shopify Rebellion, this game is over.
Last shot gets caught out, thought he maybe had the jump, but he gets the help at the last second. He stays alive on the flag. He's gonna get the pull as well.
3 dead for OpTic. Last shot's got this one 50% of the way home. Everyone from OpTic Gaming has to watch this from the respawn screen. Last shot jumps up. Shopify strike first. And Shopify will be up by 1 in your grand finals.
Time and time again, we say it, you give Shopify just a little bit of room and they will take a mile. And that's exactly what they do. Tied 3-3 throughout that entire game. Back and forth with the flags. However, all it takes, by the way, we got to talk about Royal 2's pull. Very midship-esque classic pull. Toss the flag and then fight in the back of the base. And not only does he pick up 1 kill after the toss, he gets a little bit of damage on the second player. And guess what? Last shot's already gone. And that's the type of teamwork that we are seeing time and time again from Shopify Rebellion as we take a look at some of the highlights.
I mean, before the tournament, we had to do our predictions, and I had to say this man was up there for me when I was thinking about players who just find their best in the biggest of situations. Royal 2 has done it for years, and that play at the end is so synonymous with him. You know, you think about moments with certain players and play styles with certain players. Royal 2, historically, you imagine with the sniper rifle in his hand, picking up kills from a distance, but when he gets behind you, one of the most difficult kills in the history of Halo, just seems to have this internal timer that knows exactly when he can fight, exactly when he should survive, and exactly when the help is coming. That final moment from Royal 2 was peak Royal 2.
I mean, he's hard enough to kill when you're looking at him, when you can see him. And guess what? If he's behind you in your base, it is going to spell disaster, and that's exactly what it did on the scoreboard. If you're OpTic Gaming, it's Shopify Rebellion taking game number 1. And let's not forget, statistically, they were not favored in that game type yet again. OpTic with a stronger record on Aqua CTF. Instead, they will take it and put down the first piece of what could be just a first best of 7. Let's take a look at the final performances here in 2025 for OpTic Gaming.
You can see them here. They're usually pretty good. Grand final in Arlington, they win that one 4-0. In the reset, they win that 4-3 as well. That took them to their first title, of course. In Dallas, it was 4-1 over FaZe, and then a 4-0 in the reset again. So keep that in mind, OpTic fans. They've done it before, but the grand finals at SLC was the first time that they lost it against Rebellion, having to come from that loser's side. And Rebellion, that was the first chip that they got for this season. So OpTic, we keep kind of hinting at it, they're the only team that have managed to do it from the elimination bracket, but it's going to be a long, long road if they want to do it.
We should also mention they've only done it from the elimination bracket. So Greenwall fans here who might be getting a little bit nervous after that first game 1 win, OpTic Gaming has been here before, and they know what it takes more than any other league, maybe even in the history of competitive Halo, over the past 2 decades, of what it takes to find a way back into a series right now. And you can tell just a little bit of team talk here from Formal about what they need to do in this Slayer, because my goodness, has this ever been a focused game type for them. A very important game, of course, in their last series against Shopify. They both came into Slayer. Let's not forget, OpTic has done the hard work in Slayer since Charlotte. Both teams coming into Championship Sunday were undefeated in Slayer at Worlds. Of course, earlier, Shopify does take that Slayer win to close out your winner's final. But you get the feeling that OpTic knows this game has a lot riding on it. Yes, we're playing a best of 7, but it feels like tying this series 1-1 and going down 2-0 are 2 very different stories for the Green Wall.
Let's think about what Renegade did yesterday in this exact game type and map combination. He went insane with that shock rifle. He went on an insane run. And if I'm not mistaken, ended up with nearly 20 kills in a huge matchup that had all of the pressure on his shoulders. So keep your eyes on Renegade once again, OpTic Gaming fans, to be the man who lights the fire here under OpTic.
Let's not forget, as we said, Shopify taking both Slayers in the winner's final over OpTic Gaming. OpTic will need to find a way to dig deep to take this Slayer and get back into the series. If not, Shopify's going up 2-0. We're underway.
Shroud goes down early. Legend's going to burn the camo. I believe he was the player who certainly had the momentum going for that power up that dropped at the start of the game. So it could be a burn here, but more importantly, it's going to be 3-0 off the rip. Renegade's going to be the last alive. Although it looks like Royal 2 is going to be sniffed out here by Renegade. Great awareness from him, but with the way the Royal 2 is playing, it's probably a good idea to back down from that fight. But the damage output Second to none from this man at the start of the game. Royal 2, though, does end up coming back to bite Renegade and gets that kill.
You feel like Renegade does as much as he can in that situation. Eventually, Royal 2 will actually be sniffed out by Formal, who gets behind him at Gold Stairs, which will actually lead to a very nice bounce back from OpTic Gaming. They were trailing 3-1, but they slowed the game down very nicely. Now we're tied up 4-4, and Renegade with the shock in hand. We've been there before. Let's see what this man can do.
See if it's going to be the same story. Headshots galore yesterday. Body shot helps Formal stay alive in this situation. Another beatdown's going to take down the shields, and Renegade will survive through the splash damage. It's 3 dead for Shopify Rebellion. OpTic into a slender 1-kill advantage.
Very important moment there, because time and time again this season, whenever OpTic Gaming loses a Slayer, it is often due to early deficits, and that was about to be the case in this game as well. Instead, they stabilize and now have a lead here by 2, still with shock in hand.
Shopify slowing the game down, making sure that they get presence on the map before they try and make any kind of play. They're going to be aware of the position of Renegade, and if they weren't, Cycle is going to relay that information now.
Let's see how much Shopify wants to slow this down. Now down by 4. This is enough of a margin where they need to be careful. They're going to continue to try to push the aggression. Cycle's also pushing Glass alongside Last Shot, but they slow that push down. And you can tell Shopify knows they need to be careful here. If they have a few more pushes that continue to fail, this could get out of hand. OpTic Gaming is doubling the score of Shopify off the first opening moments.
Renegade knows exactly where Last Shot is. He also knows where Cycle is. He gives him a little tickle under the chin with the shock rifle, which is immediately turned into a kill for Bound as well. So the teamwork for OpTic seems to be on point, as the shock rifle will be put onto the respawn here.
Still a 5-kill lead. Cycle still trying to make Glass happen. Pressure is coming in as they're going to take now a 14-9 lead. Let's get into a listen with OpTic Gaming.
He's coming bottom mid. He's coming bottom mid.
Cycle's camel guy. One's in gold on you. One's in gold on you, Sabri. One's in gold on you, Sabri. He's playing through right now. He's playing through.
I'm trying to help you, man. No, I'm tapping.
Try and ping this guy.
Ready, beat down and yo, one tower. Watch out. In red. I don't leave you, Ben. I don't leave you. Psych.
One shot, trip the corner with shock. Yo, Cam, one shot, trip the corner. That's one. Kill the Cam. Just trippy. Needles, he's tripping box hill. Top tower. Bottom mid. Cam will jump now. He's pit on bound. He's pushing stacks. Down stacks.
Yeah. I'm ready to see jump.
He stacks bottom, make move. Grab top here.
Play those guys. There's 2 guys in there. Play those guys. Get out. Go blue pipe shot.
Hey, he's in the smoke. He stacks. He's stairs. Watch out stacks. Top on the stacks. Dead end. He says one.
One's A, 100%.
3 kills the difference between the two teams. It's OpTic who still hold on to that lead though, and Formal having a very, very strong start to this Slayer game type. 6-5 at the moment, but taking out the camo in that fight a few moments ago shows the value of the kills he's picking up.
Yeah, really important. We saw earlier not doing so really cost them when Cycle was able to go on a little bit of a spree to get Shopify Rebellion right back in the game, but you know, OpTic Gaming knows just how much they need to be prioritizing power-ups and power weapons if they want to take this game. It's just a 2-kill game.
Oh, Frosty got away with the shock rifle, I believe, so he might have a couple of shots to play with. But Renegade will find that kill, and you know Renegade is going to grab that shock rifle at any opportunity. Royal 2 is trying to play bodyguard, but Renegade's going to pick up the present.
Love that, just tiptoes in, pre-nades, grabs the shock around the corner, has no interest in the pipes battle whatsoever, and I love the discipline from Renegade. Now they're up by 4 once again. Time and time again in the Slayer, OpTic Gaming has been tested with Shopify applying really good teamwork and coordination. But Renegade winning 1v1s like that are going to be the difference maker. They continue to lead by 4.
Camo coming up now in 10 seconds or so, so all of the attention for both teams will change towards bottom middle. Bound's going to find 1 kill. Royal 2 take it down to no shields. 2v2 on the map right now. Legend and Renegade versus Cycle and Royal 2. They find a 2v1 scenario, and Legend will escape with the camo for OpTic Gaming.
How about that from Renegade? He drops down there on stacks. At the same time, Legend hits a perfect G-slide to grab the camo. Cycle cannot win that 1v2. That's going to be impossible. Amazing movement, timing, and coordination from OpTic Gaming. Now with the camo in hand, poised to extend this lead even further.
Yeah, this is a real opportunity. You think about the potential swing of the score, where it is right now in this game. If it goes the way of OpTic, you're pretty much closing in on 40 kills with a pretty solid lead, trying to close the game out. You get into the position where you're just thinking trade our kills. Don't give anything away for free. And Legend has that responsibility now. A man who last season was lifting a Halo World Championship trophy would love to do nothing more than do it again this year.
Still just a 4-kill game, so Legend knows his camo doesn't have too much time. Speak of the devil, it's out. Now he has to fight in long haul.
Oh, there's an entire Shopify Rebellion roster to fight against, though. The nades are going to be good, but they're not good enough. Royal 2 comes out of that with a double kill on OpTic Gaming at the end of the camo hold and the end of the camo play. And now just up by 1. Shopify Rebellion are back into this game.
You get the feeling they needed to time that camo a little bit better on the actual camo timing. To lose camo on glass when 3 players are coming long and you're kind of poking long, that's just unlucky timing, or really mistimed, if you will. Still a 3-kill game, though, a 3-kill lead. And Renegade with the shock yet again.
Has to be headshots at this point in the game. In a grand final after 4 years to get to this moment. The level that these players play at. You know, if you miss a shot, even if it hits the body, there's probably 2 players flying at you, and you're not even going to get the chance to pull the trigger again. Then here comes that pressure. Misses the headshot. Now he's got pressure coming onto him. But the chain reaction and the headshot onto last shot is going to stifle Shopify and put OpTic into a 5, make that 6-kill lead.
And then there comes the flood as well. Look at Bound hitting the double G-side on the pipes into Whirlpool to help the other 2 players on OpTic Gaming. They absolutely clean wipe Shopify to now lead by 6. Amazing timing, amazing pipes control, and collapse as well from OpTic Gaming to get a sizable lead here in the late game.
Bound finds another one. Oh, Renegade bending bullets round corners. 43 to 35, make it 44. As OpTic look like they are warming up, and this man on a killing spree. Grab yourself a camo, Renegade, you deserve it.
And what did we say? It was always going to be Renegade. They have depended on this man to go into Renegade mode. He's doing it yet again. He's 11, 9, and 6. Most assists on the team and in the game, and by far the least deaths in the game. It's been an unbelievable run, and only 4 kills to go for OpTic Gaming to close it out.
Last shot finds a kill, though, and I've got to say, Shopify in the last few seconds just actually won the majority of the team fight outside of the brilliance that was on display from Renegade. And Royal 2 finds a double kill out of nowhere. Frosty finds another. Bound is last alive, and OpTic fans do not celebrate yet. You still have to find 4 kills.
What was just a 46-41 all of a sudden becomes a 3-kill game. 47, that was a very big important kill. Maybe even
he gets a double. Renegade with a double. To calm the nerves of the green wall. Former will find a stick as well. It's 1 to go here for OpTic.
1v1 here on the sneaky, that might be it. That's it!
Legend will find the final kill, and even though it's a scary, scary ending to that game, OpTic show the ice required. We are at 1-1 and tied up in our grand finals.
How about Renegade ending that game 13-7 with 9 assists? 50-44 is your final score, and once again, OpTic Gaming takes a game type that they were the heavy underdog statistically in terms of 2025 records, and they turn it around. They take the game, and my God, is it ever an important win for OpTic Gaming. As we said, instead of trailing by 2 games, we will be all knotted up at 1-1 in your first grand final.
And the value of the Slayer. It's been the story all season for OpTic Gaming, and the Slayers, they look like they've just tweaked something. Whether that is saying to Renegade, we need you, or whether it is something different, they are finding a way to win these Slayers. And that's been the difference maker for them in the tournaments where they have struggled, where they haven't had the success. Jeez. But these shots, this run from Renegade, I said he needed to hit heads.
Yeah, he did it.
And I think I was in the comps.
He did it. And then, perfect play. And then he's swinging around and getting a clean stack scrapple on camo, continuing the rotation, staying alive throughout this entire sequence. And you got to think, if we're being honest, that was quite dependent on Renegade. How much did he have to do in the late game? The double kill that was off screen, the pipes hold that was a double kill, winning a 1v1 on glass with the shock. I'm not gonna lie, that was heavily dependent on Renegade doing every single set of those plays for them to win. But when they get the puzzle right, they get it right. OpTic Gaming ties the series up here 1-1.
Well, now we move into Strongholds on live fire, and we need to talk about the record of Shopify Rebellion here, because it is nothing short of superb. This is at the Halo World Championships 2025. 6-1, just the one loss. OpTic currently sat at 8-3.
Still a winning record here, of course, for OpTic, but as you see on your screen, Shopify Rebellion, 2 strong. Let's look at their last 6 strongholds, specifically against OpTic. It's a bit of a one-sided story, Mark.
It certainly is indeed. Very close games, 250 to 246. We saw that one a little bit earlier. That was quite the game, but it went the way of Shopify Rebellion. Charlotte 250 to 44. That one not so close. Salt Lake winning that one. Dallas winning that one. Arlington, you get the picture. They have won their last 6 strongholds matchups against OpTic Gaming. But if we've learned anything in the last few games, the record books don't seem to mean that much. It's all about how you perform here in the Grand Finals.
It really is. We've seen both of these teams, by the way, Shopify and OpTic included. Looking at the statistics and the records books for all of Infinite, the 2025 season, as well as Worlds, and just throwing them out the window, right? Performing in ways that we haven't necessarily seen them do so. But as you said, so far, Shopify Rebellion seems to have OpTic Gaming's number in strongholds specifically. They will need to find a way on the side of OpTic Gaming to dig deep. Because you saw some of the results, 250 to 44 in some of these games. That was Recharge specifically, so not on live fire. But still, Shopify playing the game clearly at a pace that has often caught OpTic Gaming off guard. However, as we've seen this weekend, OpTic Gaming seems to be playing on a very different level from where they were in Charlotte.
I think for OpTic Gaming, when you're looking at the results and the big game wins and the close wins, like we just saw on Recharge Slayer, my question is who is going to step up alongside Renegade? Because to put the responsibility on his shoulders to do things like we just saw him do, match after match, series after series, it's a big ask of any player on a team. And I'm looking at that man on our screen right now, whose final event this may well be in his illustrious, glittering FPS career. If someone knows how to perform in a grand final, it's that man Formal.
It really is, and we should mention, of course, Formal with one of the lower KDs on the team in the winner's bracket final against Shopify specifically. The story is set up perfectly. To hear him say just days ago, and you could tell when a guy like this with a career like he's had says, I'm giving you my all. This one might be my last one. And he looked across to his teammates and said, I'm giving you his all. And like Clutch said, the pressure that puts on the rest of the team to also make sure they're supporting him sets up an incredible story here, and also an incredible series, just tied 1-1 heading into game number 3. But I couldn't agree more. There has been a lot of dependence on Renegade on your screen, not just here, but the last few events. And no exaggeration when we say he's been going double positive or more in many games. And while that's fantastic, OpTic Gaming will need to be playing together as a team, and every single player doing their part.
I agree with you. I think everyone has to be on their A game. You have to play the best Halo Infinite you have played individually to earn the right to call yourself a world champion. 1-1 in our grand finals between the two teams. Strongholds live fires up next.
Gonna be at a blistering pace here between these two. Look at Renegade so far, 1.25 in the series so far, 25 kills on the board, and you know without a doubt he will be adding to that tally in this game number 3. The question is at the end of it, which team will have 250 points on the board as we get ready to lock in for live fire. Game 3 underway.
The go-ahead game in the series, tied up at 1-1, just as we all wanted it. Renegade's gonna find one off the rip. He's gonna find 2 off the rip. 4 dead for Shopify Rebellion, and the momentum is strongly in the favor of this man at OpTic Gaming.
I mean, how about it? You can't write it. Talking about what he needs to do and what the team needs to do, and off the opening, it's OpTic Gaming carrying momentum from game number 2 straight into game number 3. They're scoring with an initial 4 dead off the opening of the match.
2 dead for Shopify as well. Eyes on the camo, as OpTic Gaming will be scoring with the BC hold. Looks like Formal's making a play towards that camo, and maybe they're just trying to bait it out at the moment. Keep Shopify away from B. Use it as a way to stop them scoring, essentially, in this situation. Renegade can't find any targets, and Shopify have found 2.
Oh, boy!
Renegade found a target, everyone.
Talk about just having a few frames, if that, to do it, to hit that shot on the quickscope above the railing. 2 dead for OpTic, though, means Renegade needs to be very careful with the C pressure as well as the camo pressure.
Yeah, I mean, the camo's still off. Both teams are playing around it at the moment. No one getting baited into it. Renegade,
he turns the tides.
Getting the assist for Formal here. Frosty's going to be peeking. Not sure if Frosty did grab that camo or not, but Royal 2. falls victim once again to Formal here.
Does Frosty win this? That would be wild if he does. He gets help in the end. That should be traded out. Even if he had camo, that will be traded out. So in the end, Shopify keeping things interesting and starting to flip C as well.
1v1 for C here. Looks like Cycle's going to at least convert it here for Shopify Rebellion, but OpTic elsewhere have rotated towards B. Royal 2 is trying to get in a position to stop it being converted and does exactly that. It's the nade that comes in from Frosty that cleans OpTic out of the back of B, and now Shopify Rebellion are holding B and C and will be pretty close to going into a lead here.
What a bounce back and what incredible game management as well. Renegade is not able to grab a ledge. He will fall off. It is a lead change. Shopify, despite being down early and then being in a following 1v4, they find a way and kill 3 dead again for OpTic Gaming. They find a way to get right back in. This triple cap was in effect as well. And Shopify just showing you just how fantastic they could look, even when they're playing from a disadvantage, to get control back of the map.
Yeah, how quickly did they get across the map to just get the reset as well? Yeah. Star split spawn and Bound was all on his own at tower, trying to buy time for a teammate to get into position to put a few shots into the pushing Shopify Rebellion players. Wasn't able to do so. Cycle cleans him out. A very simple kill when you've got those numbers on the map. Renegade going to try and grab that camo, but Cycle will cut him down. A killing spree for him, and Formal has just popped the camo. Cycle can smell him. Cycle can't find him though.
Very nicely done by Formal. It took him a second to get there. Let's see if he stays alive with this camo. Should be traded. It's a big trade from Royal 2. However, 3 dead now for Shopify. Frosty is going to be your last player alive. So an opportunity for OpTic to begin scoring once again.
Sniper rifle coming up as well. Frosty's going to be getting his hands on that one. By the looks of things for Shopify Rebellion. But AB is the hold here for OpTic. But with shots like that coming out of Frosty and Legend picking up another, both teams are going to have to scrap a little bit before they can get anywhere near converting one of these strongholds.
See what Frosty can do top mid. A lot of pressure coming in. He knows how important it is that he stays alive. And let's see how they play this.
The aggression. Frosty not afraid to peek with his sniper rifle. He wants to take the fight to OpTic Gaming. AP still the hold here, by the way, for OpTic Gaming. Frosty's going to find an easy cleanup though and move his attention towards converting A. OpTic are 3 dead. And Frosty still has 4 bullets to play with.
They know Bounds around. They're going to get the reset as well. They're about to trip cap. Let's get into a listen now with Shopify Rebellion.
Getting out bottom. One bullet snipe down in A. One bullet snipe in A. Turning this. Pillars goes post and spit. Post and spit. 3 on white. 3 on white. 3 on white. Yes. 2 on white. 2 on white. 2 on white. Going to be. What's we can do it too. I'm going outside the jail. It's hard. It's hard. 3. Gonna get something. Funny. Wait. One more smaller. That's a big door, guys. That's a big door. Nice. One more shopping from S. One Weak.
Well, no surprise to hear the intensity coming in from Shopify Rebellion as they are continuing to strangle OpTic Gaming. It's 3 dead again for OpTic, and that's been the story for the last 60 seconds or so. Continued scoring, continued pressure, and continued 3 or 4 deads.
How about the unbelievable run from last shot there with that QT to hit the stick to the QT to staying alive, getting more damage on Formal. QT's back to get even more damage on Legend. All of that play in back green was what paved the way for this triple cap. They now lead by 100 points here in the game.
Strongholds, we know, especially on live fire, is a game of momentum and big score swings. So for OpTic Gaming, it's about getting a foothold and trying to build your way back into this game. But with time starting to disappear in front of them, a point starting to become a premium, and Shopify closing in on a 200-point threshold, OpTic have to pick up some kills, and they have to do it soon. But last shot with this camo is going to be able to collapse onto these players at back green.
Just taking his time. He's got the help, and he knows it with Frosty as well. So clean, makes it look so easy because the hard work had already been done on the camo grab. By the way, Shopify currently outslaying 40-28, and the trip cap still in effect. They've crossed the 200-point mark.
Yeah, Formal tried to do everything right though, but unfortunately, by staying alive and holding that corner, last shot just saw him peeking out for a second. It's an easy pick, it's an easy kill. And now last shot makes the difficult ones look easy as well. Camo still in effect, triple cap still in effect as B is finally flipped here by OpTic.
This whole time, last shot was the last player alive this entire time, and they can't get rid of him on window.
Still alive. OpTic looked like they'd forgotten about him. A little bit of help coming in. as OpTic will finally get some scoring going their way. A and B is going to be the hold as last shot Ethan, as last player alive for so long, still trades his life.
4 dead for OpTic Gaming, and look how much time it took there. All it took, last shot staying alive window is devastating for OpTic Gaming. It might not look like it because they're keeping 2 players A and they're scoring during that, but last shot knows if he stays alive long enough to then trade for his teammates and even get extra damage on A bags, it paves the way for the triple cap to continue. C will flip, but not before Cycle continues his dark magic. He will rotate back around once again. 230 points on the board.
Cycle is QTing all around the place. Hitting body shots, hitting bodies, hitting anything that moves at the moment. Another challenge, another QT.
Oh boy.
More damage being done. They cannot kill Cycle right now. They cannot get near a stronghold. And we might be seeing Shopify close this one out right now.
We will be, that's it. A starts to flip as well though. Let's see what last shot can do here on the push.
Just got to convert C here. Formal trying to do what he can, but with 3 in the death screen. Bound is the last hope, and he can't do anything. Shopify Rebellion dominate. OpTic Gaming in game number 3. And will now be up 2-1.
Dominant is the only word for it. And OpTic Gaming tasted an early lead, but that was the only taste they got. Because Shopify Rebellion wastes no time. They get right back in the game, and when they got control, about 100 uncontested points. By the way, your final score, 250-88. It was not close. Off of fantastic power-up control from Shopify. Amazing patience, amazing timing. And I think the last 2 plays that we saw, Mark, were such good pieces of evidence for why they're so good. How about last shot and Cycle, each staying alive, whether it was the QT, whether it was the camo. They are buying so much time for the rest of Shopify as they push up the map. Here's this QT spree. Look at the damage here. He's gonna QT back even after that and pick up more. Also Cycle working together once again with last shot at back green. Time and time again, it's the 2-man pushes that we talked about and have been watching all weekend long, still continuing to succeed for the side of Shopify Rebellion.
And if you're wondering how players like Last Shot keep putting up this ridiculous damage differential when we look at the end game stats, it's because of their survivability. They don't go into the death screen, they don't over-challenge something, and they survive 2-3 seconds extra in comparison to a lot of the best players in the world. That is huge when you get into these close games and these close series, because extra 2 or 3 seconds, the help starts to arrive. Your survivability percentage starts to increase, and you can output even more damage. 250-88, it was all Shopify Rebellion, and the pressure now is back onto OpTic Gaming.
And guess what? Next game type, gonna be Oddball. A game type that OpTic Gaming knows and loves very well. Let's not forget some of the best Oddball records we've seen in the entirety of Halo Infinite for this team. At one point, 21-1 in the game type for quite some time. And this will be a very welcome placement in the series for OpTic fans to see Oddball next up.
It's OpTic's best game type. When you're looking at the records, it's one that OpTic, when you see it in a series, regardless of the map, you're usually thinking OpTic have got this one in the bag. The one thing that they can be slightly worried about, though, is Shopify Rebellion, excuse me, GRAN record here on Lattice Oddball at Worlds. Got that sent us out eventually. Neither team have lost this, so we're going to have the first loss inflicted in this series.
And let's not forget, not just Worlds here on screen, this is actually going to be the entire year because of how new the game type is. They're both 1-0 so far, but specifically the thing we have to highlight, because we have limited data for Lattice Oddball, of course, is their overall Oddball records. Shopify is 15-5, but much more importantly and impressively, OpTic Gaming is 23-2 in Oddball on the year. As we said, it is their best game type, and they need to show up here.
And the crazy thing is as well, you look at not just the win record, look at the rounds differential. They barely lose a round of the thing. It's not 2-1s, it's not close games, it's OpTic dominating this game type. But I think when you're looking at the maps, having this game on Lattice, the newest of the additions to our game type suite, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a little bit closer just because of the experience that both teams have on this map and finding a way to play it successfully. Surprise, surprise. The man we have to look at as well, it's going to be Renegade. Just crazy stats once again here on Oddball.
1.4 KD for this man in this game type, and you can bet that he's a huge reason why this team has been so successful in the game type. 3 dead off the opening, however. Frosty gets the early snipe, and we'll see what Shopify can do with your first hold of the game.
Formal going to peek. Frosty going to let him know that he's there with that sniper rifle. Legend also going to take a bullet. Bound. Wow. Wow. Royalty and Frosty, they've been doing it for quite some time together, and OpTic at the moment are finding out what it feels like to be in the death screen. They've barely been on the map.
OpTic outslayed 6-1 off the opening. Formal's the only one with a kill so far.
Just
going to add another one. In the end, it's traded out. So still the only player on OpTic with any kills. Usually that's not a big deal, but it is when the other team has already scored 8.
Shopify Rebellion now 23 points on the board. And it's Royal too, he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. His last shot will connect with the body. More shots go into Legend. 2 shields broken, survivability is there, and you just know when the damage output is coming in from last shot. It's not usually too long after that they turn those damage numbers into kills, Shopify Rebellion. Formal versus Royal 2. Royal 2 still gets out of that by trading with Renegade here. A little bit scrappy though. Shopify Rebellion finally under a bit of pressure, and OpTic have picked up a couple of kills.
I was wondering if they might try to play this just because they want a little bit of space. Right now it's a 1v2 on the map for just a second.
Bound's going to grab that oddball, knowing that last shot is last alive. But look at the pressure. How difficult it is, even when you're up shields against a player like last shot. Still manages to take yours down and forces you to drop that ball and take a little second. OpTic, though, have picked up the kills. They have cleaned out this side of the map, and by the looks of things, are going to be able to grab some good time here.
Wow, they had to brute force their way in, but did they ever do it? As I said, they were being outslayed 8-1. Now they're just being outslayed by, now they're even. 12 kills apiece. OpTic Gaming bounces back. They somehow find a foothold off of repeated pressure in every single angle, and they break the setup, and now we essentially have a tie game here.
Frosty and Renegade are going to trade here. Cycle finds another one onto Bound, so Shopify winning the trade battle, but Legend, just as I say, that makes it 2v2 on the map. 27, 28, and rising points on the board here for Shopify Rebellion, as the last 2 players for Shopify are going to be now met by the flood from OpTic Gaming. Last shot trying to stay alive. Bound will find one. Renegade cleans up the damage. It's 3 dead for Shopify Rebellion. Another excellent push from OpTic means more full time.
Formal might get this as well. Big trade, because that will keep 4 dead and keep the spawn staggered. OpTic Gaming will now go into a lead in the round.
Legend in a position to play this ball as well. Up on the snipe bridge at blue. Formal gets the first pick. Frosty flies in. Legend's going to be under pressure pretty soon. And the play ball will be forced. But at 43-28, they're almost doubling the score now of Shopify Rebellion. And now it comes back to a fight for the kills. Shopify picking a couple of
Oh my!
Bound! That reticle was magnetized to heads.
Huge, and Legend also spawns behind them, meaning he's going to buy a little bit of time as well. That double kill was massive in order to keep things close here.
Sniper rifle just popped on the map as well. You have to wonder if both teams are going to even think about going for that right now, or if it's going to be a case of just looking for the kills, looking for the oddball. And turning their attention towards the power weapons a little bit later on. Frosty is moving up onto that sniper, and he's going to grab it here for SR.
Another snipe for Frosty. What can he do? Last time we saw this in hand, they extended their lead by quite a bit. He's going to look to do the same again here. He knows.
Looking for the spawner. But the players from OpTic Gaming won the fight inside of red, so that means that he gets flooded. Formal's going to grab that snipe. Shopify 3 dead, and Bound with the oddball in his hand.
Early on, by the way, Last Shot was about 7-1. No one else was near 7 kills. If you've seen Last Shot's gameplay when this game type released, when they were scrimming it, he was one of the best players in the game, but they have kept him at bay for the last several minutes of play, and it's a huge piece of why OpTic Gaming now leads by double the score at 57-31.
I'm going to give you everything I had, said Formal, and Shopify Rebellion are just being reminded of that. A beautiful body shot and an even more impressive headshot from Matthew Piper keeps the scoring going here for OpTic Gaming. 66 points and rising. Shopify got to be careful here, or this round could be done.
Yeah, now with 30 points to go, let's get into a quick listen here with OpTic Gaming.
He's going. He's going back.
I
think there's 20 behind you guys.
It'll be on red. There's at least 3 in red.
I'm pretty sure 120 behind us.
Watch the spawn, watch the spawn, watch the spawn.
I'm here.
Where he ball?
He's weak. One behind us, behind us, man.
Up red. First up down me. Up red, cat weak.
He's on you, Sabri. On you, front, Sabri.
Back me. Back red.
I'm looking at you.
Back cycle. I'm looking for kills. Red box, watch out. Red box, one shot. Two dead.
One shot back red, Frosty, absolute. Back ball, one shot.
Right now.
2 on ball, last 2. One shot, absolute, back red.
Where's the other kid?
For sure.
He scored Ziggy, he scored Ziggy.
Weak circle, one shot
One
circle.
shot bottom mid, drop him bottom mid.
He's right back red weak. A lot of damage. Red box,
One shot red fight.
Box weak, left shot.
There's a lot here.
Sticky, man. Sticky, kill me. One shot box above you, man. He's challenging you.
So how they're listening back into the game. 72 points on the board still for OpTic Gaming, but Shopify are starting to rally a little bit here. They've picked up some ball time recently, and Frosty is going to continue that.
Formal, by the way, 15-7. We talked about how he said himself that he would be the one to step up for this team and bring his Sunday best to Championship Sunday at 15-8. He has been a huge piece of why they lead, but as you say, Shopify has brought this back to dangerously close levels.
Shopify playing very close together at the moment, making sure they can bait and switch and be frustrating every time you think you've got an individual fight. Another Shopify Rebellion player is going to pop out from behind cover, having got their shields back and contribute to OpTic Gaming members falling. Shopify still with his ball in the hands, and I tell you what, with Frosty hitting that shot, taking the sniper rifle out of the hands of Legend, we might be about to see a lead change. Shopify go into a lead here, 76 points and rising, and OpTic, they've got to be the careful ones now.
Also, I think they have QT as well, which could be devastating. We've seen what this team can do with QT in hand. 85 points on the board and 2 dead for OpTic Gaming.
OpTic need to get back on the map, but all of them fall consecutively. 4 dead here for OpTic. Last shot is just going to watch and hold that odd ball as Shopify Rebellion will strike first here. 1-0 as we head into round 2.
Let's not forget it was 67-31 in favor of OpTic Gaming. They blow a 30-point lead. They're off of very good pushes from Shopify. And as you said, it's once again about the team composition and map movement coming in from Shopify. As you said, so difficult to play against, the ability for these players to turn what is a 1v1 into a 2v1 time and time again. Also, by the way, off-screen, Royal 2 did have that QT to just cause absolute chaos to close out the round. And OpTic Gaming knows what needs to be done here. They're down 1 round to 0.
Interesting to see that OpTic got most of their time over at blue as well. As soon as that ball transitioned over to red and in and around ice, Shopify Rebellion just seemed to have the better of them. Whether that was just a little bit of knowledge of spawn control, the ability to bait and switch, whatever it was, or just keeping that ball on the map, Shopify had great control. Where's that ball right now for Shopify? It's in their hands and it's back at red.
3 dead yet again. Bound is in trouble. He's got a lot of angles here. And even though he had a really nice isolation on that 1v1, Royal 2 just QTs out, lets the damage do the talking. And I tell you what, I couldn't agree more. You have to wonder if OpTic Gaming is going to really try to force that ball away. Back to the bridge holes if they can. Nice job with the return to sender from Royal 2. That will keep 2 dead for OpTic, but killing spree, double kill as well. He's just doing a whole lap of the map.
He certainly is, and Formal might be next if he's not careful. Royal 2 wants this 3rd kill. He's not going to get it because last shot beats it to the punch, but 3 dead again for OpTic Gaming. Bound versus Royal 2. It might become a 2v1 very soon, but oh my, Royal 2! Pops him up and knocks him down.
What do we say about this man in game number 1? 3 dead for OpTic Gaming. You don't want Royal 2 behind you in the back of the base. It's a triple kill on the other side of the map for last shot as well. I didn't even think there were that many players remaining on the map.
Pound is last alive, or should I say first spawner, and almost first victim here. Shopify are taking over a frenzy for last shot. 10 without response.
What did we say? What did we say? When last shot is kept at bay, you might have a chance. If you let last shot do this thing, 21-12 with a frenzy, they're going to be leading 80-0 against you. This one could be over in a moment.
We're going to have to rewrite the record books in a few moments' time, because OpTic and Oddball has been W all season long, but Shopify Rebellion have come to play. 85 points on the board already for them. And finally, it looks like OpTic Gaming will get a point on the board in this round number 2. But boy, have they got some work to do.
Royal 2 and last shot, 22 and 13 right now.
He is having an absolute field day here. It's Renegade he goes up against. It's 3 dead for Shopify Rebellion. Again, Renegade, the savior for OpTic in that moment.
4 dead. So finally, a moment to breathe for OpTic Gaming after being on the receiving end of an absolute slaughtering, an 85-point run, and as we said, a frenzy as well to start a round of oddball. Don't know if we've even seen that all season long. Let's see what Formal and team can do to stay in this one. They're scoring yet again, and they've got 24 points on the board.
And we said, what do you need to do if you're OpTic to stay close to Shopify Rebellion to win games? You have to match up to Slays. Well, Bound and Legend ain't doing that in this game. 8-19 for Bound, 10-21 for Legend. You are not going to have the space required to have success if those are the kind of numbers we're going to be talking about.
And as you say, compare that to the numbers you're seeing on Shopify Rebellion. 2 very different stories, but somehow OpTic Gaming has gotten back in this game in a pretty big way. Renegade wanted to not trade at all costs, but it costs him because Royal 2 stays alive. And this is going to be it here.
This is going to be it. 3 dead for OpTic. Unless a couple of God nades find their way to the feet and the body of Frosty, we are talking about Shopify Rebellion being up 3-1 in your Halo World Championship Grand Finals. And now they find themselves one map away.
How about that as a statement? To take down OpTic Gaming, who, as we said, was 23-2 in oddball, but to do it with just stone cold faces. There's no emotion on the side of Shopify because the job is not done. You can tell, as we said, these guys came here for not only one reason, but this roster was assembled for one reason. Just like the team on the other side of the stage, it was all about taking home the final Halo Infinite World Championship trophy. And now they find themselves just one game away from doing just that.
The stats speak for themselves, really. Last shot, 25 and 16. 13 assists, leading his team for assists as well. Royal 2, 24 and 15. On the other side of things, Legend Abound with 1 to forget.
Big Dammy, of course, coming out last shot just shy of 7K damage. And it's just like we've said, anyone who's watched that man's POV, he knows something about the timing and the speed and the rotations on Lattice that clearly other players cannot keep up with. And of course, the entire Shopify roster supports him so well in that. But you can absolutely time to a T what Last Shot is doing on the map and who was leading in every round of that game. Early on, Last Shot, as we said, was 8-1. When he got slowed down, OpTic Gaming was winning. As soon as he comes back in, and obviously when he gets a frenzy, it's completely over. I mean, how often do you see that? In a game type like Oddball, you shouldn't even really ever be getting frenzies. And on Lattice? Yeah, come on, think about the amount of angles that the opponent is gonna have against you off the spawn. The amount of times they'll have to push you. It is unbelievable to get a frenzy specifically on that map and game type because of the demands and the speed of it. But they are doing just that. Shopify Rebellion leads 3-1. Next up, Origin Slayer.
We talked about Slayer once more. OpTic have stayed in series this event through Slayer. Can they do it once more and send us a little bit further into this best of 7? One thing they have to be slightly concerned about is there's a gentleman on the other side of the stage whose name's Frosty, who we've kindly called the Oracle of Origin. This man knows every angle, every nook, every cranny, every LOS, and how to hit every single snipe shot that is available on this map. So OpTic are gonna have to pull something out of the bag here if they want to keep this series going.
Talking about Frosty, the man you just mentioned. Smile on his face, and for good reason. 2016 Halo World Championship win with CLG, a 2017 win with OpTic, and how about a 2023 win with FaZe, now on Shopify Rebellion. If there's one man in the Halo Championship Series who knows how to find a World Championship win and hoist that very trophy, it is Frosty, and how fitting that he now has the opportunity on the map, as you say, that has become his namesake, the Oracle of Origin, an opportunity to take home that trophy yet again.
Or is this going to be the final chapter of Halo Infinite and the final chapter of our grand finals here at the Halo World Championship? Or do OpTic still have something to say here? Can OpTic still summon up something special and keep this series going? They're going to need every single member of the Green Wall to do so as we head into Slayer Origin.
And let's not forget, 2 players on this OpTic Gaming roster are defending world champions. They still hold that title after their win last season. And they're gonna need to find something special to stay alive in this. OpTic Gaming will need to win the next 3 games to force us to a second best of 7. Most importantly, 1 game at a time. They need to win here.
First pick's gonna help. Renegade's gonna get it. Almost immediately traded out though. Cycle flies in with these rockets, doesn't really connect with too much. Formal actually gets a trade in that situation. Legend versus Royal 2. Bound's gonna get the kill, and Royal 2 with no shields has to scarper away, but 3-3. The game is essentially has nothing between the 2 teams. Bound with the pick though is gonna give OpTic a slender advantage and maybe access to this snipe side where that all-important sniper rifle finds itself.
That is what we need to see for Bound, by the way. You just saw Bound G-slide across grass. He walks in and gets a single-handed double kill, especially after a flatter game in that game number 4.
Oh! Well, Bound had a flat game, so did Legend, where it's those 2 players who have stepped up here at the start of this. For OpTic Gaming, headshots coming in from Legend. Big double kills coming in from Bound. This is what OpTic need.
You wonder, what did that game do to these 2 players as they're now starting to take the game in their hands? They lead 8-4, but Shopify recording a few important kills, but Legend not missing. Finally, you think, finally taken down here In the end, the sniper will run out, but not before OpTic stays in the lead here at 9-7.
9-7, but they did have that sniper rifle, and the fact that Shopify have kept it close has to be a little bit of a concern. Usually, it's a big swing factor in this game type that we have in front of us. So by keeping it close, Shopify, now that the power weapons are out of the hands of OpTic, are starting to bring this one back. 10-10 now as Frosty wins his fight against Legend.
Really nicely done as well, and doesn't trade in the end. Even though Formal had an angle, he makes sure to angle himself away. It's 3 dead for OpTic, and just like that, it is Shopify into the lead as it's 4 dead. And Frosty knows where the spawns are coming in as well, and what was just an 8-4 lead for OpTic Gaming has been reduced to a 3-kill deficit.
A Formal literally and figuratively in that situation with his back against the wall. Survived long enough though for Bound to come on the flank and try and pick up some of these kills, but now he's got to survive. Cycle's already spied him out. And Bound just needs to run away in this situation. Royal 2 doesn't even let him do that. He gets cut down at the pass, and it's 16-11 for Shopify Rebellion now. 17-11. They are just finding the gas when they need it. Last shot with another kill. It's 18-11 now.
OpTic Gaming needs to stabilize. They need to find a foothold, maybe get just a little bit of damage and a pick, but right now they're keeping them on split spawns, and Shopify is playing this game perfectly as they take the lead by 7.
Renegade has found some rockets though. Maybe that's going to be a way back into the game here for OpTic Gaming. But Cycle wins his fight against Legend, which makes this a little bit more difficult, and all it's going to be with the power weapon is a trade. OpTic find themselves 3 dead again, and Cycle finds a rocket to play with as well.
Oh, and gets the free damage as well with the re-peek, and he knows there's going to be more company up top.
Legend slides away, but he's not going to get away. It's 2 dead again for OpTic. This is getting out of hand very, very quickly. OpTic need this sniper rifle. If they don't, this could be curtains for them.
Enemy halfway to victory.
We got to do it 26-16. It's the mid-game, but they have a 10-kill lead. Let's get into a listening with Shopify Rebellion.
I got that tip. He's going red sniper right now. Blue beer, red sticky, press it, red sticky. Blue beer. He's going.
You're good. Press against side.
Press it above you, drop it, drop it. One right side, right side, red.
You have to reload the side. Go bottom in, hold him.
Red beer, red.
Red flag.
Red flag. Look at flag. Yeah, red flag.
Maybe you're grass. Trade.
Sniper's out.
Blue silver.
Red beer. Formal's in.
Or dead. That was for Renegade.
One just ready. We're missing two. Two spawners.
Go window.
Red flag. Two flag. Give me a second.
Legends red elbow.
I got one more. Let's get the elbow. When you come.
Put him in.
Where's he?
Red. I think there's one in blue now.
Nice. Yeah, one blue.
Cycle and Shopify are taking OpTic Gaming apart. And interesting to see, they were like, we're winning the game without a sniper rifle. Even though we've got it, let's just burn the ammo. Let's keep this momentum going.
Absolutely, it's been amazing.
Cycle!
Killing spree, double kill for Cycle as well on the home stretch. That's another one, it's a triple.
Make it an overkill, buddy. Can't quite do it. Renegade gets the kill, but the damage surely has been done. Cycle. Questions about if he can perform on the biggest stage. He's won that major, he's won another major, and now he wants to add a Halo World Championship alongside this man. What a story these two gents have had.
Look at last shot as well, like you said, picks up a double kill, and this could be a home stretch victory lap for Shopify Rebellion, leading 44-24.
All they have to do at this point is finish this fight. 6 kills required. There's one of them. Cycle again on 18 kills. Cycle is 18-4, by the way. As Shopify only need 4.
Unreal stats from this young man. And you saw him years ago with one of the most historic and meteoric rises for a young gun in the Halo Championship Series, and he's now 4 kills away. Alongside last shot from hoisting the trophy, 46-27 here.
It has been an absolute steam train of a performance in this game from Shopify Rebellion. They have run over OpTic Gaming in this game type, and with 1 kill to go, the only question is who wants it? Last shot is the man. And your 2025 Halo World Champions will be Shopify Rebellion.
And look at what it means to him. You saw Royal 2 getting loud. This entire team, this entire organization, year after year in Halo Infinite, they get their first Halo World Championship. And as we said, to do it the way that they did, to have to fight all year long, to lose the first event, lose the second event, and slowly build this roster into a World Championship caliber team. It's Shopify Rebellion.
Ladies and gentlemen, here in Seattle, it's been an emotional weekend. It's been a phenomenal season, but give